Amanda.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, do you like movies by chance?
I sure hope I do, since that's half the genesis of this podcast.
Yeah, we talk about movies a lot. In fact, if you think we talked about movies a lot before, we should probably talk a lot about movies today.
Yeah, because 2023's got quite the lineup, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
On Can We Talk About? Can we talk about the movies that are coming out this year?
There are so many good ones. I am so excited.
I'm also excited. The Super Bowl just happened before we're recording this. First off, they didn't actually do it during the ads. They actually had little mini ads to tell you to go watch the full trailer to things.
Yeah, that was weird.
But for me, pointed out that there are a lot of movies coming out this year with a lot of anticipation. Hence, this episode of the podcast, which I think
I'm excited. I'm very excited about the movies that are coming out. And also, I was looking over the list, and it's kind of strange, right? Because it used to just be like, what movies are going to hit theaters?
Yeah.
But I feel like the list is so large now because there's so many movies that are going straight to streaming. I feel like Apple has a bajillion movies coming out this year.
Yeah. I was actually surprised too. There was another movie, and I forget which one it is, but it's only in theaters. It's not on Amazon, which is weird to me because I'm like, why would that? It was the one with Matt Damon.
Are you talking about Air?
Yes,
the Michael Jordan
story.
Oh, that is that. I think is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Matt Damon and Jason Bateman, sign me up.
Yeah. But anyway, we can jump right into it, and then we can just
do it.
We'll start from the ones that are starting in March of this year, which by the time you listen to this may be in the past or still the future, depending on, I don't know.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. But
all right.
The first one I'm looking at here, and I said I'd start with March, but this is right on the cusp, and I feel like we have to mention it.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Cocaine Bear.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for this movie. I think I mentioned it. I think we both mentioned it pretty early on in the podcast that this movie was coming out and we were excited about it, didn't we?
It came up.
Was it the 2022 wrap?
It might have been, yes. I think during our 2022 wrap up, you mentioned that you were looking forward to this, which, by the way, stars Kerry Russell and Ray Liotta. Is this Ray Liotta's last movie?
Oh, I think it is. I think we also mentioned that, and that's really sad. But at least I hope it does well because Elizabeth Banks is directing it. And I mean, this is a real story. People might think I'm being nuts for being excited about this, but this is a legitimate real story that I'd heard on a podcast years ago about these drug mulers that essentially they were smuggling cocaine, and it dropped off of the plane in Georgia in 1985, and a bear found it and just went ham and ate all this cocaine and terrorized this town. And I cannot wait to see this movie.
And I'm guessing, and there was something I heard, a little soundbite from Elizabeth Banks that leads me to believe that this is going to become a new arc. But she mentioned somewhere that she's willing to do and would absolutely do Cocaine Shark, which I also think flows off the tongue a little bit better for some reason.
Cocaine Shark. Okay, but that's not a real...
It's not a real thing, right? I think that's the thing, is this is one of those things where it's oh, Cocaine Bear, that's crazy. Now let's just give cocaine to other scary animals. And I think next on the list was shark.
There could be a cocaine shark because people try to smuggle drugs across the ocean all the time. I bet you there's plenty of sharks that have ingested loads of cocaine.
I don't know the chemical workings of.
I don't either.
I don't know.
Anyway, very excited for that, and that's end of February, right?
Yeah. Opens end of February.
Okay. So that is the one I'm excited about in February.
Next up in March, and this really kicks off where we should have started, but we had to touch on Cocaine Bear.
Thank you.
I found this interesting because this is his directorial debut, and it's also similar to the story of Sylvester Stallone, who obviously kicked off the franchise, but Creed 3, which Michael B. Jordan is starring as, the titular character, and I never say that correctly. But it's Michael B. Jordan reprising his role, where I think he plays Apollo Creed's son.
Yes.
And
it looks. Do you like the Rocky movie franchise?
I do.
Is that too camp for you?
No, not at
Okay.
all. And you know what's really funny is there is and if it's floating around somewhere on YouTube, but I think it was during the pandemic, Sylvester Stallone went back and he got all the original reels and masters from, I think it was Rocky 2 or 3. Which is the one where Apollo Creed dies?
I think that's 3.
Is that 3?
Yeah, because the Russian guy is 4.
Yeah, and that would also make sense because I believe Sylvester Stallone directed that too. He got the original masters and like went back and was like working out of his office with an editor and like recutting the movie from scratch to like make like a special edition, but like doing things he had learned over the years from continuing to direct and like changing like the angles of shots and like when you cut away to things and all these things. And he was talking about it. And there's this documentary of like following him recutting the movie. And you see like scene by scene, like how much effort he puts into the framing, the color, everything, every little
That's
nitpicky
amazing.
thing. And it's really enjoyable to watch. I mean, it is time consuming for them to re-edit the movie because there's like this lowly editor there sitting while Sylvester Stallone like points to the screen. It's like, all right, tilt this. And can we cut into this a little bit more? And I want to like, when he says this, I want this to happen. Like he has such a vision for the movie that I got to give the guy credit. Like whatever, if you like the movie or not, it doesn't matter. Like Sylvester Stallone is just amazing. Like he cares a lot. And I give him a lot of credit for that. Cause,
it's a big deal in my family. Rocky is like, I have 5 sisters. My father, we are sons to my father. And that was like, you watched Rocky movies with dad. That's what you did.
And this is Michael B. Jordan directing for the first time too. So, a lot of credit there. Give him, excited for him.
So that's March.
That is March. Are you an Adam Driver fan?
Oh, am I an Adam Driver fan? I'm in a Facebook called Driverinos. Okay. And it's just, let's be honest here. I can't wait for this one. It's called 65.
Yeah.
And I only know that he's like an astronaut. That's all I know about it until I'm obviously getting ready for this. And I'm going to watch it. It doesn't matter what it is that he's doing. I'm going to watch it. So.
Yeah. So what's the synopsis? He's an astronaut.
So the writing directing team of this is Scott Beck and Brian Woods, and they wrote A Quiet Place. So this is probably going to be great. But it's a sci-fi thriller starring the one, the only, the handsome Adam Driver. He's an astronaut, crash lands on a foreign planet, only discover he's landed on prehistoric Earth 65 million years in the past. Hence the title.
Isn't that like the ending of
are we watching Jurassic Park?
No, not Jurassic Park. Anyway, Sam Raimi is involved in this too. And it has a score by Danny Elfman, which surprised me too, because like this isn't a silly, Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
To have like the typical Danny Elfman, like bunka bunka bunka, like just that's the sound of Danny Elfman. By the way, I just made the episode. It's Adam Driver. I mean, signing off on anything Adam Driver, that's its thing on its own.
And that's the theaters, right? Yeah, that one's the theaters.
Yes, that's going to theaters. I'll let you pick up the next one. Take us down the list.
Luther, Mr. Luther, Mr. Idris Elba. Talk about another one. Oh, wow. This one, I mean, do you watch the Luther show?
My wife does, Dale, who you know very well.
And Henry does as well.
Yes.
So hilariously enough, so does my fiance.
We'll let them do an episode on the movie.
And this is a Netflix movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, it's going to be in theaters. Yeah, it's going to be in theaters in the end of February anyway. Which when they do that, that's always like the, which is weird because it's like sort of to qualify for awards and things.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Is the Luther movie gonna,
The Fallen Son? I don't know, but I mean, again, Idris Elba.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
That voice and that face.
Yeah. I loved him on which is the oddest place to say I like him, but I loved his arc on The Office.
It was really good. That was really good. Him in glasses really sold it for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like this one's a little bit more I would love your opinion on. Scream 6.
Yeah.
It's coming out. So did you watch the new one?
I watched a little bit of it and then I gave up. Not out of like disliking it. And I heard all good things. I heard everyone say, yeah, it's like going back to basics. And because, you know, in the early 2000s, even like the Halloween movies, everything started getting like way too over the top and trying to outdo itself, you know, every movie prior. And I think the last Scream from, what was it, last year, the year before? I don't know, the one before this one.
Yeah.
Sort of reset the stage and made it simple again, which is sort of
Neve Campbell's not in this one.
No.
Yeah.
But Courtney Cox is.
Great. I love her. But
and Hayden Pantalone.
Neither one of us can ever say her name.
Yeah.
Every time we try to say it.
Yeah. The short girl from Heroes.
Hayden girl. But I don't know. I really love the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
It's really pinnacle growing the type of horror from our generation of growing up when horror movies came out. So I really like it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to not like it. And I always get worried that if it's not good, then that's good, like a sore spot for the franchise in my brain. Like that's the last thing I saw. I was like, it was good until.
Yeah. And what I always liked about the Scream movies, the original Scream movies, was that it didn't have like like, you know, like Halloween, like all the other ones. I mean, I keep harping on Halloween, but they almost like have like a little color haze to the movie, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost like it almost knows it's a horror movie too much. Like if you came in to Scream, also, I Know What You Did Last Summer, like that, those like late 90s movies in general, like they just sort of were like teenagers, going to high school, just being scared because there's something trying to kill them, right? Like,
yeah. And they apparently had the world's most lenient parents because they were always going on vacations to lake houses and their parents were cool with it in high school.
Yeah. We don't have helicopter parents back in the 90s.
Truth.
And also worth noting, who I think just exploded as Wednesday, but Jenna Ortega is in this movie too. But I guess depending on when it was filmed, I wonder if she's like the pseudo, like the one that gets killed off real quick.
I don't know. Was she in the one before this?
I don't know.
Oh boy. Well, I hope she doesn't. Now I'm going to watch it because I love her.
Yeah, she was in the last Scream. Yeah, she was in the last.
Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah.
Now it's on the list.
And
we're back. All right. What's next?
All right. I'll say I like the first one. And I don't know where I am on the second one, but Shazam, Fury of Gods is the sequel, which I also feel like it was a very few years they waited to do a sequel for this. But I think they should have did a sequel real quick.
Let it ride out a little bit?
I think they waited too long. Like, I think it was...
I didn't see the first one, so I can't even chime in on this.
It was really good, I will say. And I think the other thing that was nice to see, too, is I'm not a horror movie person. Are you a horror movie person?
I can be.
Okay.
You know how I will say I like certain types of horror. But I'm not a person that gets scared by horror movies, so I don't like them for that reason. Like, that does not affect me at all, but I do enjoy some.
Yeah, fair enough.
Most, maybe. I don't know. Somewhere in there.
The director of Shazam was a guy who was known for doing horror movie. He's the guy who created the Annabelle franchise.
Okay, see, that's where you lose me.
Exactly. Me too, by the way, for what it's worth. But he has an entire...
And I have friends who love them. Love horror movies, love those types. Not my jam.
My wife does too, and I'm like, I can't stand him. But David F. Sandberg, he is a very cool human. He's a director, but he used to him and his wife would make little short films. It's like he still has YouTube channel. That's how he became a director.
That's incredible.
He was just making little YouTube movies and wanting to create short films. And then he created one that went viral. And then he had a concept for a movie called Annabelle, about a doll. And then that worked. And then that led him to direct Shazam a couple years ago. And now he got the sequel. So
is that movie Megan that just came out about a doll, is that part of the...
No, it's not related, but also...
Okay.
Oh, God.
I just saw it and I was like, oh, maybe she's a friend of Annabelle. I don't know.
All the dolls are friends. You have Chucky come over, Bride of Chucky come over. Everyone.
Sure. Oh, I like that. Those are
Well,
good.
is that just because you like Jennifer
Yeah,
Tilly?
of course it is. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, we're on the same page. We're
Okay, great.
Love Jennifer Tilly. Now that was the 90s.
Yes,
Which reminds me, by the way, we always go off on tangents. I always have these moments where I remember movies I watched as a kid. There was a movie, and I'm going to pull it up right now and remember the name. But Jennifer Tilly played one of the mothers to the kids, and she was Jennifer Love Hewitt's mother in the movie.
What?
House Arrest. Does that not ring a bell?
I have to see. I feel like in my brain,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, hilariously, I type in house arrest and it automatically says, are you under house arrest trying to take off your ankle bracelet? No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, this is a bad Google thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Movie. Okay. Movies.
Well, I'll talk about it while you're looking it up. But it stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Kevin Pollak. They are the parents. And then they have the kids who ground their parents.
I had to have seen this.
Yeah, you had to have seen this movie.
Oh my God. Yes. This is a great movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah, absolutely. But
because they don't want the kids to they don't want their parents to get divorced, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah. Great movie. But
great.
Rang my bell because Jennifer Tilly played Jennifer Love Hewitt's mother.
I mean.
Yeah. All right.
Come on.
This is going to become a very horny podcast.
I was going to say, this is just going to be a podcast about boobs again. I can't. We already talked about Gina Davis today. Let's move on to not boob people.
Okay. John Wick, Chapter 4.
I'm the love I have for Keanu Reeves is unfounded. I will tell you.
I got to tell you, I keep, and it was like a couple weeks ago too, where I'm like, everyone talks about John Wick. I have yet to see any of the John Wick movies. I need to watch one of these. And the other day I was like, oh, maybe I'll just start at number 1, start at the first one.
It's the only one I've seen.
And go through it. I have to get through them and watch them. Obviously, this is Chapter 4, so I'm guessing this is the 4th one.
Yeah.
So, but there's another John Wick
look at that cast. It's Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Lance Reddick, Bill Skarsgård. Come on.
Yeah. I remember them filming this too, because there's always like videos that come out of them filming on the street, like him riding a horse, shooting a gun or something crazy.
Oh yeah, especially on TikTok. When I finally downloaded the TikTok app, I think it was like right around the time they had started filming it, and then they had to stop filming it because of COVID.
The pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, so they definitely leaked a bunch of, New York people on the sidewalks taping it. So I've seen a couple of those, but same. I think I would like this. Yeah. I'm going to watch them.
We're getting closer. So we're rounding out March with one more movie, and
this is a ding because we've talked about Dungeons and Dragons the game.
I text you outside this podcast. I text you and said, "Hey, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?" Because I'm like, I want to play.
That I'm a nerd, and you're like, oh, she's a loser. She's probably played this game, and I have. I have the starter kit. I have like the starter pack of like doing your own first. I don't know. I'm gonna butcher the name, and people are gonna make fun of me for not knowing. Campaign. I knew that word. It takes you through like a very novice, very like get you into it campaign. Okay.
But I think we need to play Dungeons and Dragons at some point.
We should watch this movie when it comes out, and then play the game after, and we can just we'll record it because you can play online with people. I know this now from listening to podcasts. Yeah. And I was listening to a podcast episode where the whole premise of the podcast, it's by Chris Gethard, who's a comedian. And one of the premise of the podcast is you call in, it's anonymous.
Yeah.
And this girl is like a very well-known campaign manager. Like she runs the campaigns for this Dungeons and Dragons games. And she's like super sought after. And all the work that this girl had to do behind the scenes to run a game that she's not technically even playing.
Yeah.
She kind of is just like the manager of the game. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, these people are really
Master.
into it.
I know that.
Yeah. And that's Stranger Things. Wasn't that the whole Hellfire Club was Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah.
I will say the one piece of media that ever spurred my interest into playing Dungeons and Dragons was I guess both episodes, but the episode of Community where they played Dungeons and Dragons, and it was advanced.
They made it look really fun. They made it look
absolutely.
like a fucking ball.
Yeah.
But this is a lineup and a half in this movie.
Yeah.
It's Chris Pine, Hugh Grant, Roger. How do you say his name? The guy from Bridgerton.
Reggie
Jean
Jean Page.
I don't know. He's hot as hell. So Sophia
Michelle
Lillis
Rodriguez.
Smith. She. Oh God.
Oh, is she back from tax evasion?
I guess she's made. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah.
And this is a reboot, I guess, of.
Well, there was another movie, I think in the 80s, that really didn't do it justice, but I will say it is directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, who did Game Night, which
That was funny. That was really funny. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. I will say, and again, I'll credit TikTok because that's apparently where we get all our
That's
content.
where I get my life at this point.
But someone else had mentioned somewhere else. They're like, you know what? Like Game Night was a really good movie, right? Very underrated. I'm like, no, I also think it was a great movie, and it's Jason Bateman, so points there.
Yeah.
But there was someone pointing out that like even the way the movie shot makes it look like a board game almost, like they use that like tilt.
I
tilt
can
shift.
see that.
Yeah. So like make like the cars look
Okay.
like little tiny pieces on a board or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like this is a movie that's in good hands. Always scary when you're trying to take on something like Dungeons and Dragons. It's been around for, decades. And it's an open world board game. You can just do what you want, but at the same time, anyway, looking forward to it.
Me too. I think I'll enjoy that. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. So now we're in April, and this is Air.
Yeah.
Which is directed by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Viola Davis, Chris Tucker, Chris Messina, and Marlon Wayans. And it's all about Nike. And Matt Damon is essentially the Nike executive that was brought on to make their basketball. It's so crazy to think now that Nike was not known for basketball.
Yeah.
And their basketball division was trash. So he's brought on to bring their basketball division to like the cool kids.
Yeah.
And by getting Michael Jordan and creating the Air Jordan brand. That's the whole point of the movie. And that is, I think it's going to be so good. And coming off the heels of The Last Dance, which was a great documentary on Netflix about Michael Jordan, I feel like the Michael Jordan fan is alive and well.
Yeah. I will say Ben Affleck, I really like him as a director. The Town, Argo, the one that I've seen it a few places, but I never saw it as being well rated, and that's why I just never gave it a chance, was Live by Night, which is like this mob movie.
Didn't see that one.
That was 2016. He also wrote that as well, off of based on a book. But this is his first movie directing job that he's done since. And so I'm actually kind of excited to see him.
I'm excited. Yeah, he's playing he plays Nike's co-founder Phil Knight, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Good for him. Oh, he also I skipped over the most important. Gone Baby Gone. He directed that too.
Oh, so good, so good. How'd you skip that one?
I don't know. I didn't go down that far. But
again,
my point is
this is definitely Tom's wheelhouse. I don't know who the hell directs, writes, or produces anything until Tom tells me. So
But the thing is, I like Ben Affleck as a director. I think he's a good director. I wish he directed more. So
I agree.
It's definitely been a few years since he directed anything, and glad to see him show up. And he's always in everything he directs.
J-Lo's giving him the juice to get back in that chair.
Yeah. Well, he was in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial now.
It's very funny. I liked it.
Yeah. All right, this is going to be controversial. Going to get into this one?
Okay, but I saw the trailer when I went to go see Avatar, which was the first time I'd been in the movies since like 2019.
Okay.
And I think this looks good.
Yeah.
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
I think it looks good. What do you think?
I think the movie looks good.
Okay.
Right. The controversial part about this is not about the movie.
Okay.
It's not about Anya Taylor-Joy. It's not about Jack Black. It's not about Charlie Day or Seth Rogen or Fred Armisen or Keegan-Michael Key. None of those people. It's about Chris Pratt.
I know.
And Chris Pratt just the Chris Pratt voice.
He's gonna be Goomba, right?
He's Mario.
No.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah. It's
Are you
Chris,
sure?
I'm 110%.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. And I hate him. Oh, man.
Yeah, just to be clear too, because I just flew cross country on Delta, and Delta has only a few TV show comedies you can watch, right? Everyone's watching dramas now, so they're light on the comedy catalog. It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm, Rick and Morty, and Parks and Recreation. And so I went back and like watched an episode or two of Parks and Rec, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's the Chris Pratt we used to like. There's
I watched
the Chris
one
Pratt
last night.
Silly.
Yeah, just one episode, and he's just so funny.
Yeah. And so,
oh man,
I don't know, man. I mean, here's the thing, and it's kind of funny.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm just gonna pretend it's Chris Pine.
Yeah, but that's the thing that everyone was complaining about, which is valid, right? And I'll give my thoughts on it as I try to think about how to articulate my thoughts. But Chris Pratt is just doing Chris Pratt's voice, right? Jack Black is trying to be a character. Charlie Day is trying to be a character. Like the other voices you hear in the movie, they're trying to play their characters. Chris Pratt's just talking like Chris Pratt. Like he's not, Yeah,
why is he not Italian?
Now, devil's advocate, if it was Chris Pratt saying like, it's a Mario, like I think that would probably be worse.
You're right. Okay.
But at the same time too, it's like, I don't know. But do I fault the studio?
My gosh, I'm so sad right now. Because I was when I saw this on the list, I was like, I can't wait to tell him that I think it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No, I don't think it'll be bad. It'll just be like, you have to set yourself aside and be like, it's, like for instance, and it's really funny. I don't know how many adults I've run into in the past like couple weeks who were like, oh, did you see the new Puss in Boots movie? And I'm just like, why is everyone suddenly obsessed with the new Puss in Boots movie?
You know what I think it is, though? And I think it's a generational thing, is like Shrek was on the cusp for us, right? Like we were teenagers when Shrek came out, like late teenagers.
Yeah.
So we got all the innuendo jokes. Shrek wasn't just a kid's movie to us. Shrek was like, holy shit, I can't believe they're making these sex jokes in a kid's movie. And like I saw Shrek in the theater with my friends and we were high. So it was like we thought it was hilarious, and I feel like it's kind of like that nostalgia. So Puss in Boots is a kids movie, but we know we're going to enjoy it because there's going to be a little bit for the adult in there too, and it's nostalgic.
And there was, and honestly, I mean, there's something about John Mulaney playing Jack Horner and just like it being very tongue in cheek. That's like really enjoyable. Harvey, is it Gulen? The one, he's the guy from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Oh, yes.
He's in it too.
Which is a great show.
Florence Pugh plays Goldilocks.
So you know how I feel about her. So
yeah. So, but my whole point to that is like, like that's a fun movie, right? It's its own thing. No one's, like Puss in Boots has been around forever, which by the way, very quick side note, but I thought you'd appreciate this. And I didn't know this. So I went to go see Puss in Boots, The Last Wish at an Alamo Drafthouse.
Yes.
Right. Alamo Drafthouse is famous for like their pre-shows, right? They don't have like that. You go to like AMC and they like just the last 20 minutes before the movie starts, they just try to sell you Coca-Cola. And I don't know, what's her name from, who's not Mario Lopez's wife, but I forget her name. Anyway, there's like all this, like, it's just a giant commercial for a half hour. Like, buy Coca-Cola. Like, during the last 20 minutes, we told you about the new TV show on NBC. Like, just like, oh, it's so commercial.
I love Tom Radio voice popping out there. I like that.
But Alamo Drafthouse kind of famously like curates a pre-show about the movie you're going to watch, right? They have like clips and things. Like
only been there once.
Oh, you got to come hang out with us and go to the Alamo Drafthouse more. But anyway, the whole point is they had a trailer for a movie called Puss in Boots with Christopher Walken.
What?
Yeah.
No.
And so I didn't know this. There's this 1988 movie, live action, by the way, just to be clear.
I'm looking this up. Keep talking. I need to see the poster for this.
It's a 1988 movie called Puss in Boots. It's live action and starring Christopher Walken as Puss.
Oh my God.
And it's hilarious because in the trailer, it's just Christopher Walken running around dancing because he's a great dancer and then just acting like a cat sometimes.
This is incredible.
I'm a cat.
I need to watch this.
Oh, I'm in boots. Yeah.
This is incredible.
I would absolutely watch that movie. Funny enough, my wife and I, and even my kid, watching that, I'm like, I didn't know that existed. And I was like, I would totally watch that instead of the Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, the cartoon. But yeah, at some point, I guess we have to watch Puss in Boots from 1988, starring Christopher Walken as Puss.
Incredible.
Yeah.
We'll do a live taping where we'll get people to come thinking they're going to see Puss in Boots, like that version, and then they'll show up and we'll just show this Christopher Walken version instead.
Yeah. All right, we got to hurry up because we're only in April. We're still stuck in April.
Beau is Afraid. Joaquin Phoenix, Nathan Lane, Parker Posey, Patti LuPone, Stephen Henderson, and Amy Ryan. Yeah,
I was going to say the one thing I'll throw out here, again, it's another, this is like a thriller, right?
I suppose. It's not giving me a lot here. It's Ari Aster's third film. It's difficult to describe. Thank you. The official synopsis says that it's an epic odyssey of a man trying to get home to his mother. It's bold and ingeniously depraved. We have absolutely no idea how this will play out. That's what it literally says in the synopsis.
I'll just give you this. This is the only thing I was going to throw out there, which is my hot take is that I can't get into Joaquin Phoenix as an actor. Never.
Really?
I mean, is there a Joaquin Phoenix movie that you're like, yeah, that's a good movie? I don't mean that as like I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah, but I'm saying like,
I thought he was incredible in Walk the Line. I thought he was great as Johnny Cash.
Yeah, fair enough. I thought he was good in The Joker. I thought he was good in
very good in The Joker. That's completely fair. Yeah. Also, I think people haven't learned this. I'm such a goddamn bleeding heart that he's had such a troubled life. Like, I feel like I'm always rooting for the guy.
Yeah.
And he's had such a turnaround in his life, like kind of went off the rails. And of recent times, whenever he's won an award or like gone up on stage, he's just so humble and thankful. And like, I'm just really rooting for the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And I think he's a great actor, but I also feel like he's I can't think of someone else right now to compare him to, but there definitely is out there where it's either you are, like you're saying, like you just can't. I've heard from other people, I just don't get him. I don't get his shit. I don't get him. A guy I work with says it all the time. I just don't get Joaquin Phoenix. I just can't buy into it. So I get that. I do get that.
Yeah. And funny enough, I mean, it was what, 13 years ago, I guess now. But Casey Affleck, Ben Affleck's brother, did a documentary called I'm Still Here, which was about Joaquin Phoenix planning to retire from acting to become a hip hop musician.
That I forgot that existed, and I don't. That's not helping the situation of me saying I buy into it.
Yeah,
okay, it looks weird. Yeah. For nothing else, this movie looks weird. Full disclosure.
Yeah. I didn't realize this was related to the. I mean, obviously from the title, I did, but this actually seems like actually scary movie. But Evil Dead Rise, which is an Evil Dead movie.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Straight up a horror movie. Like if you watch the trailer, this is a horror movie. There's no getting around it. But
oh God. Yeah, no, I just read the synopsis. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But I guess the very quick elevator pitch is it's an Evil Dead movie that is nothing like any other Evil Dead movie. This one's actually scary. It's not just what's his name running around with chainsaw
I'll give it a go.
Hands. Before I mention the next one, I will say it's a Guy Ritchie movie, which we'll get into in a second. Mm-hmm. But I will say, and I think it was Guy Ritchie. I gaslight myself a lot where I'm just like, am I remembering the correct thing? Guy Ritchie has a very odd filmography for the movies he's directed, because I feel like he's directed
a weird dude.
He is. And there's like some great ones, but like, it's like, you know, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is like this classic, right? Snatch. And then you have like Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., which was a little bit of a sleeper. But what I wanted to say too, also he directed Aladdin. That can't be right? Okay, anyway, I don't know if that's correct.
The live action Aladdin? Is there a live action Aladdin I missed somewhere?
Oh my God, he really did. Yeah, the one with.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the one with Will, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth, Smith.
Okay.
As the genie. You didn't know that? Oh, that was There's a movie that I want to talk about. I want to dedicate a whole episode to it. It was such a.
I definitely haven't seen it. I can already tell you I haven't seen it. Okay.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
It's a little problematic now too, by the way, because it's not. Even if people discovered it today, we couldn't make a sequel to it because of reasons, and I'll get to in a second. But the movie has a really good Rotten Tomatoes score, right? People really like this. Every time it comes up on like, hey, what's an underrated action movie or something like that, this always comes up. Here's the issue with it. And I've told the story on other podcasts I've even hosted, but the gist of it is this. This came out in, I will reveal the movie I'm talking about in a moment, but it came out in late summer of 2015. Also coming out around the same time was one of the new Mission Impossible movies. And I went to go see screeners for both of them, the studio. This is back when I was, famous enough to go to movie screenings. And I was like, I like this more than I like Mission Impossible, right? Which I actually like the Mission Impossible franchise. I like what they just decided to rinse and repeat and keep doing stories a la James Bond, but with, American Ethan Hunt, right? Like that. This movie was such a good standout. Stylistically, I liked it. The acting, I liked. The story, everything. I liked everything about it. Henry Cavill is in it.
Oh, my. All right, now we can do it. I'm on board already. So there's three leads in the movie. And I gotta figure out how to say her name. Alicia Vikander. Am I saying that right? She's in it. Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer. Well, no, Mal.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Hugh Grant's in it too. Pops up. He's got a small role.
Your wife and I discussed the Hugh Grant thing.
I didn't realize
what's it called?
It's called The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is based on a TV show from like the 60s or 70s. But this all takes place during the Cold War.
Oh, I would like this. Okay, we can do this one.
It's a really good movie. You and your fiance should just go watch this movie one night. He'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. And you'll enjoy it for other reasons also, but he'll enjoy it. You'll both enjoy it.
Henry Cavill's naked? Is that what you're trying to sell to me?
I wasn't maybe. I don't know.
Okay. I thought that's what you're trying to sell it to me. But no, it looks like something I would enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Even if you watch the trailer, it's stylistically, it's like one of those movies that I really like. Anyway.
It looks like it's got some Mad Men vibes.
It does, absolutely. Okay. Right?
Definitely. And all I'm looking at is the poster. So.
Yeah. Honestly, It was like a fun spy thriller action comedy.
And that's Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Right. It was honestly, it was like one of those movies where it was like, he took an existing IP from like this TV show from like the 60s and redid it, but did it in his voice. And I really appreciate him for that because he brought his trademark style. Now we jump ahead to the whole reason I jumped off here. So,
is it really called Guy Ritchie's The Covenant?
You know what that might be, by the way? I'll give this credit, right? It's the same thing with, it is called Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. And I'm wondering if that's because it's the same reason why it's the Super Mario Brothers movie, is because there's already a movie called Super Mario Brothers, which was the one from the 90s.
Okay. And there already is The Covenant.
That's what I was going to say. Okay. So if it's up there, I'm not.
All right.
I'll give him credit and trying to say maybe this isn't him just trying to shoehorn his name into a title of a movie. But so far, the synopsis does mention that it brings his trademark, like, talk, like dialogue back and forth.
Jake Gyllenhaal. So I like that. And it's about a special ops veteran from Afghanistan who goes back to find the interpreter who previously rescued and carried him to safety. I will enjoy this. Yeah. I would like this. Okay. Yeah. I'm sold.
I'll say, to get off the topic, I am worrisome sometimes of Guy Ritchie's filmography. He can be hit or miss. but when he hits, he hits well, and I really appreciate
That is fair. I really hate what we have to talk about next.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with. But
I will say
I like them. I really do like them.
I do like them too.
Okay.
I like.
This podcast has become like pro Aubrey Plaza. Hey,
Yes.
Chris Pratt. We've broken up the Parks and Rec couple.
Yeah.
And,
this
still has Zoe Saldana in it. It's got Bradley Cooper, Dave Bautista, who is just really coming alive. I haven't seen The Cabin in the Woods yet, but I've heard he's incredible in it. Is that what it's called? Or Knock at the Door?
Knock at the cabin door, something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
It's on our list.
He's apparently incredible.
Yeah,
son of a bitch. It's out now.
Yeah, Knock at the Cabin is the movie,
and this is the final Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, it's really funny too because they're very careful not to say that. I don't think they want to call it that because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you really can't say this is the end of blank. But David Bautista has actually come out himself and said like, that's it. That's the end of my character, which can mean two things, right? Which mean like he's just like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to play Marvel anymore because he's mentioned he wants to be a serious actor. So
yeah, absolutely.
And so anyway, there is a lot of going back and forth and trying to figure out like who's gonna die. And I will say James Gunn, I'm really happy. I like James Gunn a lot. I do. I know he's kind of had a roller coaster of a public image, if you will. And now he's taking over the DC universe and everyone's like, rabble, like, mad at him because he canceled certain movies and didn't bring Henry Cavill back to do, Superman ever again. It is what it is. I'll give him credit, but so far the Guardians of the Galaxy's movies have been really enjoyable.
I like them a lot,
and they make me cry. I mean, I cried as the beginning of the movie credits in the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Yeah,
that's impressive.
It's just like that, like the mother and son and that whole thing.
Yeah. That's
His mom died and then he got kidnapped and
oh god. I cried so hard during the Super Bowl commercials that I feel like I've just finished crying. So no more crying for me. And then last night my fiance and I watched the third episode of The Last of Us. And when I say I cried, I sobbed. We had to pause it so I could go in the bathroom and take my makeup off because I had mascara all over my face.
I have to catch up on that. We have to do a whole episode on that. It's
incredible. It's really great.
I figure we'll pick it up once the show wraps, which is
that's completely fair.
Almost there.
Speaking of last ones,
is this the last one?
I believe it said in the Super Bowl trailer. It said the final installment, Fast X, which is Fast 10, the last of this franchise.
I was trying to think about it, and obviously, there's the new Mission Impossible movies.
Jason Momoa's in this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have muscles, you just get roped into these movies at some point, right? And that's how it kind of goes. No, what I was going to say, thinking about the Bond franchise or the Mission Impossible franchise, I was trying to think of any of the movie franchises that went up to 10, sequel, number 10, 9 sequels.
I have no idea.
I can't think of it. There's got to be a record for movies with the most sequels, right? There's a handful of Jaws movies.
There has to be.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's one of those things where I get it in the sense of it's because it's the same thing I mentioned before about John Wick, right? Where I heard really good things, and it's kind of one of those you know what you're in for. It's a it's a fun amusement park ride. Just
it's
strap
really fun.
in,
yeah.
And enjoy yourself. And there's nothing believable about the Fast and Furious franchise anymore.
It feels familiar though. It's one of those movies where you can just watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I also really liked the family they created out of it. Their own, exactly, family.
Yeah.
But they've created such a little community within themselves, and they truly do bring everybody back.
Yeah.
Even though
Except
Paul
for The
Walker has
Rock.
passed, he just keeps showing back up.
Yeah.
He's alive, baby.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably good that they're ending it, but
I will say in general, I'm happy it's ending, But at the same time, too, I mean, because Vin Diesel is so attached to these movies, and like there's been like the articles and stories that have come out about him like trying to beg The Rock to come back and stuff, and like let's wrap this up like a family. Like he is so invested in this so much that part of me is just like, nah, I kind of want to see it get uncomfortable where like he's way too old to be in the movie anymore. Like even looking at the thumbnail for like from the trailer, like Vin Diesel has aged a little bit, not to a point where it's ungraceful, but part of me
for sure
just out of like, rubbernecking at a car accident kind of thing. I want to see like Fast 15 and like just see him, geriatric
Fast
Vin
47. And he's
these are the
still
cars I
driving
worked
his
on.
Mustang.
Yeah, it's like the, FBI comes and like, we need someone who knows how to work on a 1975 Chevrolet. He's like, that's the first car I ever worked on when I was a family. Like, I just want to see it get uncomfortable.
Oh, God.
All right, that's enough of that. I will say the last time I saw a Fast and Furious movie, I was in the theater, and again, it was a show, right? It was like the audience was laughing along with the action, which is its own thing. And it was, I don't even know which one it was, but it was whichever one they're fighting inside of a plane that's trying to take off, and the plane is on the runway and trying to take off for like 15 minutes.
Oh, like, I don't know.
How long
the
is
last
this
one
runway?
I saw was Tokyo Drift.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's a long time ago. Okay.
I know, I really gave up on them. I apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
You made it like you were some like big Fast and Furious fanatic.
You know what? My dad, probably why I said you sound like my dad. My dad really likes them.
Damn.
And so I'll watch them. And that's not true. I've probably seen 15 to 20 minutes of every single one of them at some point. But yeah. I'm excited to talk about the next one.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Live action.
This should not be a double feature you do with Fast and Furious, like Fast and Furious, The Little Mermaid. Yeah.
No, God, no. So The Little Mermaid is coming out in May, and this movie, for so many reasons, is so important. And it was so problematic, in quotes, because, people were freaking out. How could you make Ariel black? Like, are you kidding me?
I know. I wish,
Oh my God. The videos of the little boys and girls being shown the trailer and saying she looks like me. I cried so hard, and just shut your goddamn mouth if you disagree. That's what I say. I think it's going to be beautiful, and I cannot wait to see how do you say his name? Javier
Bardem. Yeah.
As King Triton.
Yeah.
And first of all, Halle Bailey's voice. Are you kidding me? This girl is a goddamn angel.
Yeah.
Her voice is so beautiful.
I was going to say, for King Triton, I did expect it to be someone more burly than Javier Bardem. Like, I expected it to be someone, like, they could have brought Vin Diesel in. They could have someone.
No. He would have been like, Ariel, we're family.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's done enough, like, under the sea kind of movies, but like, I feel like it could have been like, if they dyed Jason Momoa's hair white. That could have been a good. He would have been
a good King Triton, but he was really busy making Fast X. That's probably why.
Well, he's also Aquaman already, so I'll give him credit.
But I feel like it's going to be really good. And I mean, Melissa McCarthy is Ursula. I just can't.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote it, and I just feel like the music's going to be incredible. I cannot wait for that. The soundtrack's going to be beautiful, and it's also going to break records at the box office and just piss off all the closed-minded pieces of shit that had something to say, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah. I will say The Little Mermaid was the beginning of an animation renaissance for Disney back in like the late 80s going into the early 90s. And there is an entire backstory to why we have The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, The Lion King, all of those movies that that are very, very heavily influenced by Broadway musicals.
Yeah.
There is a really good documentary. I think I saw it on Disney Plus at some point. I think it should be still on there, and I'll pull up the name in a second, but it basically goes into the story about how they brought in these Broadway writers to write the songs for the movie. And that then became the template for how they made animation in the 90s during like that Disney Renaissance.
That's incredible.
But this was the first one. Like it all started with The Little Mermaid. So,
oh gosh, so good.
And also my wife's favorite movie. So
I
not of all
it.
time, but like just animation.
Yes,
yeah. So
I think it's going to be beautiful. I cannot wait. Next up is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Did you see? You're very excited for this, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited for this. I
Okay.
will say, so the first one was I thought directed by. I'm going to look at this right now, but Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who are like amazing comedy writers. They're responsible for a lot of really cool things. But they were the ones who did this and brought that voice to it. They also did the Lego movie. They didn't direct the first one. They wrote the first one. Okay. So we're still on good footing here. Okay. But as long as they're still involved with this, then yeah, sure. Giant. But I mean, from the trailers already too, it looks amazing.
I didn't see the first one yet. I'm very excited to see the first one. I have no reason for not having seen it yet, but I haven't. We'll have to, that's another one we'll have to add to the list.
Yeah. You never saw the first one.
No, listen, I'm working with some real slim pickings here in my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
My fiance hasn't seen The Sopranos.
Oh,
okay.
Geez.
He's never seen a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
He's never seen Goodfellas. He's never seen The Godfather. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. He never saw. What did we talk about at Christmas? And you couldn't believe. Oh, he's never seen Die Hard.
Oh, wow.
What the fuck am I doing with this man?
Yeah, that's weird.
I have no
right.
idea.
We have to make a list for stuff he has to watch.
Truly. Well, that'll be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what to think of this anymore because I thought we were done with these.
I thought we were done. This is entering the Fast and the Furious level. Transformers Rise of the Beasts brings it back to the mid-90s as a pair of archaeologists stumble into a three-way conflict between different factions of Transformers, loosely based on the Beast Wars storyline.
Oh, okay.
Great. Yeah. I think we've said everything we need to say. Ron Perlman plays something. I don't know.
I like Ron Perlman. Okay. I mean, if he gets a paycheck out of it, sure, I'm fine. That's
great
enough for me.
For him.
That's enough about that. Anyway.
Okay, moving on.
Yes.
Elemental?
Yeah, this is Pixar's movie.
Okay, cool. It looks cute. It looks really cute. I watched this trailer on I think it was TikTok. It looks very cute.
Yeah. They had like a short trailer, I think. It was like the first one. I don't know if I saw a full length trailer yet.
No, it was a tiny one. But it looks cute.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's similar because it's kind of funny. It's like it's similar to the point I thought it was actually related to what's the Feelings Pixar movie?
Prince Harry talked about it in his book and
Inside
I just finished it. Inside Out. There we go.
Yeah. I thought it was related to that for some reason because it's like, elements, feelings, it's like hot, colds, happy, sad kind of thing.
It's elements of fire, water, land, and air.
Yeah. So, and then, clearly there's also, maybe there's already a message because I think what in the trailer, it's like fire starts like flirting with a guy who's water or some variation of that.
The fiery lady becomes friends with the watery man. If I had $1 for every goddamn time, I had feelings for a watery man. But it's directed by the same guy who did The Good Dinosaur, which was so darn adorable. So I'm sure it'll be good.
Well, that was always a low key Pixar movie too. That didn't get a lot of push, but I'll give it to it. Did you watch this next one? Did you watch this on Netflix like everybody else did during the pandemic?
No, I didn't. I think we've talked about this, but I had zero time off during the pandemic. In fact, I was working like 7 days a week, 15-hour days during the pandemic.
Yeah.
The entirety of the pandemic. So I had a very different pandemic than everybody else.
Well, it's all worth it because you're a millionaire now. So
clearly.
Hard work paid off. This is Extraction 2.
Yes.
Which was a really good action movie. And I'm not like again, all these like direct to Netflix movies, it's hard to work through which are like the, what they call geezer teasers and stuff like where it's just like slapped together action movies versus like something that's worth a watch. This was really good. Good. And the
Chris Hemsworth really in it.
Chris Hemsworth's in
He's
it.
Always
he
great.
comes back. Good movie. And it was written by Joe Russo. So
okay.
Do you know who Joe Russo is?
No. Sure, you'll tell me though.
Him and his brother did they directed Community. They also directed the Infinity Wars saga for Marvel.
I think we talked about him end Community in the 2022 episode. We talked about how we have to do Community.
Yeah, we have to do that coming up. It's always an easy one too. Whenever we don't want to put a lot of effort into an episode, we can just talk about something we know way too much about.
Yeah.
And that's one of them for me.
Agreed.
All right. This is all right. Here's another problematic one, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And I am torn because I will say, so we're going to talk about the Flash for like a minute or two. The point here is Ezra Miller is a piece of shit. Like, I don't think that's anything.
He is such a bag of fuck. Yep.
And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to support whatever going to see a Flash movie. But then Ben
Affleck, Billy Crudup, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton comes back as Batman in this. Oh my God.
That's where I'm just like, all right. I mean, when I saw Michael Keaton and I'm like, and he does that little like smirk and he's like, I'm Batman. And I'm like, all right. God damn it.
I saw this trailer like everyone else during the Super Bowl and I looked and my partner was like, that was Michael Keaton as Batman. He's like, no, this is the Flash. I'm like, I know it's the fucking Flash.
Yeah.
I know that, but that was Michael Keaton as Batman. He was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, that was Michael Keaton. He's like, how do you know? I was like, I know Michael Keaton's mouth anywhere. I think like the rest of us.
Yeah. So there's some crossovers. They're pulling that like what, like the Spider-Verse kind of thing, which apparently, if you think about it too, it's like Spider-Man's done it twice in cartoon form and in live action form. Now DC is doing it with the Flash, which is, crossing timelines and, that movie from the 90s, that's just a different timeline of Batman. That's all that was. So interesting.
It just sucks that it's Ezra Miller. It just sucks. And it sucks for everyone else in this movie because I feel like it's going to hurt them.
Yeah.
It has to. I mean, it just has to.
I will say, I know like everyone's outrage of being like, hey, you should just like, you pulled the Batgirl movie. Why can't you pull this one? And with that one, they're like, it was unrecognizable. It wasn't a good movie. It wasn't something we can clean up. And then this one, it's like, but why would you throw that one away and not this one? And then it's like, yeah, the moment you see it of like, there's some like Michael Keaton's in this a bunch. And like, this is, it's like, all right, I kind of get it ish. I mean, cause I'm excited. I'm torn in like will I probably see it now? Maybe. I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but like, but I don't want to, here's the thing. And I think this is safe to say. I don't think most people, I'll say that. I don't think most people want to see it because of Ezra Miller. If anything, everyone wants to see it because it's the last time you get to see Ben Affleck play Batman, or it's the first time you get to see Michael Keaton play Batman in like 20 years. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm with that line of thinking that if I do see it, it will be in spite of Ezra Miller having nothing to do. Every time he's on the screen, I will just imagine him being blown up in real life. And that's just where we're going to have to go with that, I think. But it does suck because it sounds like they really set this up to be the beginning of something great for that franchise, for the storyline in that franchise. Yeah. And they cannot go any further with him. Yeah. So he's going to have to be recast. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you know what? They can always get out of it by doing a like different timeline thing and jumping off.
Which they're going to have to do, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, this Ezra Miller dies, and then we have a different version of the Flash. Maybe the guy who did the series come back.
Make his death like really embarrassing. Yeah. If you can hear us, Marvel, hear us.
It's okay. Anyway, I'm gonna read off this cast list before I say the name of the movie or anything. Okay. It is so good. Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Adrian Brody, Liev Schreiber, Margot Robbie, and Steve Carell. That alone, no matter what it is,
it could just be them sitting on a cardboard box and I'm watching it like that. That's it. And then directed by Wes Anderson. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the latest Wes Anderson movie is coming out, and like just based on like because he also sort of like went off and did a bunch of like animation and stop motion stuff for a couple of years, right? He kind of took a break, did something different. Appreciate him for it, but this is return to Wes Anderson in the most Wes Anderson. It is set in 1955, and it's about a bunch of students and parents at a junior stargazer convention, which I can already see what this looks like without even having a trailer.
So
or
Wes
anything.
Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, and so period piece, you know,
The description's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
In other
great.
words, this might be the most Wes Anderson movie yet.
I'm all for it, and I love Jason Schwartzman. Apparently, plays the lead in this too. So,
Gosh, this is going to be great.
Yeah, my favorite Wes. Do you have a favorite Wes Anderson movie?
Not really, because that's one of those things where I didn't really get into caring about who made a movie, who was part of the process until not too long ago, honestly. And I don't really have a favorite, but I am the type of person that is like, oh shit, it's a Wes Anderson movie, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't have a favorite. Do you? I know you do, but go ahead. What is yours?
Rush. I've had this conversation with
I knew you were going to
friends.
say that.
Once I saw Jason Schwartzman was in this, like the last movie I liked, or I should say the last movie I liked, but like my favorite was Rushmore, which is young Jason Schwartzman. So excited to see, love it, excited for it. That's exciting. That's June 23rd. And then a week later, all right, I don't know if we need to do this.
Yeah, but okay. Here's where you and I are going to differ, I think.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
Because the next is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford, Antonio Banderas, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Toby Jones, Boyd Holbrook. Okay. I am, and you know this, I love the Mummy franchise. One of my favorite franchises in the universe is the National Treasure franchise. I could watch that all day long.
Yeah.
I like the nostalgia that Indiana Jones brings me. So I'm not going to go into this thinking, yes, this is going to be the most action-packed, incredible film I've ever seen. I'm going into this to bring me back to that nostalgic, like, I just want to hear the music. I want to feel, that's what I'm going into it with. Yeah. I'm not, no expectations. And I know you're going to be like, this guy is so old. Why is he doing this?
It's not that. It's not, I'll be honest, it's not that. It's just, if you remember the feeling that we all had, and we all had it simultaneously, everyone watching it, no matter what, of watching in the theater Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
What year was that again?
2008. So a little over like 15 years ago.
Okay.
And Indiana Jones hiding inside of a refrigerator and surviving a nuclear explosion. It was just like, it was turning into the Fast and Furious franchise. It was getting bad.
That's fair.
And that's where it was
we know this is it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's okay. Right?
Yeah, because
he's
for what it's
not going to
worth,
be alive much longer, as much as we want him to be. He's not. And he doesn't have another 15 years left in him.
I don't know if he knew where he was when filming this. I want to fly my airplane. One of my favorite things is listening to the air traffic control recordings of Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones himself, accidentally landing on the taxiway instead of the runway when he I flew my plane. Just like flying his little Cessna plane around. Anyway.
But the first Indiana Jones, okay, what's his name that plays the little kid? Oh my God. And he was just in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he's winning all these awards.
That wasn't the first one though, right? That was the second one?
I think you're right. I think it might have been the second one. I don't remember.
Well,
but anyway.
Well, okay. I guess the difference is it's like, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the first movie.
Okay,
and then the second, and then every other movie has Indiana Jones in the title. I want to say it was Temple of Doom that had, I can't pronounce his name. Ki Hai Kwan.
Yeah, but he just goes by
Short
Ki.
Round.
And he and Brendan Fraser are like best friends because he was in Encino Man with Brendan Fraser.
That's right.
And they're really good friends. And there's like a really amazing interview where the two of them are hugging and he's like, we survived, man. Like we've made it. We're back. We've survived because they're both having these beautiful resurgence careers right now. And so that's the kind of nostalgia I'm going in for this. And hopefully because it was the last one, it's, bring on all the camp, bring on all the hokey. I'm ready for it.
All right, we gotta power through July, but Insidious.
We can just go through to the end of the summer, and then we can just do a second half of the year.
Insidious Fear of the Dark, which is it's the Insidious franchise, but I will give him credit. I do like Patrick Wilson. I'm not gonna see this, right? No, not happening. But Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, love her too. But But I will say Patrick Wilson is directing this one. I don't know if that's the first time he's directed it, but good for him. Like Patrick Wilson, enjoy your Insidious movie. I'm not going to be there.
And next.
I am excited for this because, again, this did hit a bit of a road bump with COVID, but again, I enjoy the ride for this. I don't care how old Tom Cruise is getting.
He's a fucking nut job, but he is such a badass. Let's all agree. Nobody wants to be a Scientologist. He's fucking insane. But the man, how old is he? And he still does all of his own stunts.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying he runs. No, the man jumps across buildings. He leaps off of mountains. He jumps out of helicopters.
Yeah. He's 60
insane.
years old now. He's 60. 60.
My back hurt yesterday from coughing too hard.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, and I also love Simon Pegg. So I'm excited for this as well.
Love Simon Pegg, and I got to give him credit, right? Because once you kind of get involved in the franchise with Mr. Cruise, you were locked in, right? Ving Rhames has been in this since the first one, right?
Yeah,
just tagging along. He's a part of the crew. But again, I think it was after the third movie. Once they had I think it was 4, maybe it was 3, but it was whatever the movie was that was directed by J.J. Abrams, where they just hit a stride saying hey, this is what we're gonna do now, right? It is just the Ethan Hunt Chronicles, and we're just going to keep going, and it's a fun ride, and every movie is a new mission, and it's we all know what's going to happen.
It says part 1.
Yeah, they broke this movie up into 2, which is the first time they're doing that. So, because the other movies were starting to get long, right? I mean, I think the last one they did was pushing the runtime. Yeah,
and I can in my brain. Right? So these are probably incredible in a theater, right? You want to go see them in a theater.
They
that
are,
type of movie. But I don't want to sit in a theater that long. I don't want to sit in the theater for damn near 3 hours. It's not going to happen. Avatar was tough. I took a nap.
I will say, what's going to happen is they're going to release the second one, and in some theaters will do the double feature where you can watch the first and then the second one, which I'm all for. I'll do it. I'll do it for that one. So Tom Cruise.
I'll let you do it for us both.
Yeah. This one's good. Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio.
It looks good.
Roosevelt. That's all we know. That's it. You got it. It's Roosevelt. Martin Scorsese.
Roosevelt, the 32nd president of the U.S. We've actually talked about the next 2 already in the 2022 episode, but we'll just talk about them again. Is Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. I don't care what people say. I think this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be weird, but also good.
Totally fine. Okay. Totally fine with it. Also, apparently this is the most we got too. She's banished from Barbie Land and introduced to our world. So I don't know what that means.
I didn't even know there was a plot. Okay.
Cool. It's Margot Robbie. It looks funny. And honestly, again, Ryan Gosling is another one of those actors that if he's attached, I'm that's a signature of him being no, this isn't a shitty project. This is going to be a fun ride. So good for him. Ryan Gosling's involved. I'll watch it.
Same.
As a warm-blooded heterosexual man, yes, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, I'm Ryan's in, and I'll go watch it.
Same.
Yeah. Okay.
For both.
Yeah.
But next, I'm actually very excited for this one, and we did talk about this. Is Oppenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Rami Malek, Josh Hartnett, and Benny Safdie. So this is all about the father of the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
And I love Cillian Murphy, and I'm very excited for this. And it says exactly what we just said. Virtually all of Nolan's films, the IMAX shot pick should be taken on the biggest screen possible. So this, I'm very excited to see in the movie theater, because I bet the graphics on this are going to be fucking nuts.
Yeah. And I will say too, I'll give him credit, right? I think Christopher Nolan's another one of those directors, we were talking about, Wes Anderson, who, and Tom Cruise. Once you're locked into his little world, you're a part of his little crew, and he'll just rinse and repeat. And so, Cillian Murphy, I think the first time they worked together was the Batman Begins, right? Was that the first time they worked together?
I don't know, but he is.
If it was,
I trust
but good for them. Also, who else is in this? Who I'm excited to see? I think we talked about this. Have you watched The Boys? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Jack Quaid is in this.
Oh, yes,
as well.
we did talk about this in the 2022 episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Jack Quaid, son of Dennis Quaid, not Randy Quaid. That's the crazy one.
The nutso one.
Yeah. He's the one who like lives in the desert and makes weird videos. Anyway, he's in this. Good for him. I think that's really good for to see more Jack Quaid in things. I'm okay with that. Nepo babies, who cares? I'm okay with that.
I don't give a shit. Me too. They're talented. It's in their genes. I don't care.
Yeah. Next up, this is it's funny because the last time what was the title of the movie? Was it Miss Marvel? Mrs. Marvel?
Mrs. Marvel or Miss Marvels. Yeah, Miss.
What the hell was the title? I forgot the
I
name
don't
of
know.
the movie.
I just realized before when we were talking about
Captain Marvel. I don't know why
Flash,
I
I said Marvel. That's DC, folks.
Yeah, I know. I was going to
this is
correct you.
Marvel.
Yes, I was going to
It's
correct
fine.
you, but I didn't want to.
It's good. You can. Please do. I'm woefully behind in the Marvel universe, and I know that we've talked about this, but I don't know. What do you think? This is more your wheelhouse, so
I
what's
mean,
the vibes.
Where this is most important is this is the Marvels, but it's the first time aside from like the very brief appearance in after Infinity War. She really hasn't popped up a lot. And then she did, obviously there was Captain Marvel and then she popped up in
Brie
the finale.
Larson?
Yeah. And obviously you had a lot of like it was like a lot of back and forth and a lot of hate, for her playing Captain Marvel. It made the whole thing kind of just messy. Not in anything other than you can't talk about Captain Marvel without some neckbeard popping up and being like,
Yeah.
she's a feminist.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Just shut up. Who
Yeah.
cares? It's a cartoon. She doesn't fly either in real life. So chill out. So anyway, it's exciting to see that it's the first time she's going to pop up back on screen in a movie that she's actually a character in. It's been a while. So good for her. Not necessarily anything to look forward to. Like no big, again, I feel like Marvel shot themselves in the foot a little bit because they went so big with the Infinity War saga and that end that it's just like, yeah, now nothing matters anymore. Who cares?
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's completely fair.
So there's a Marvel movie coming out. They finally figured out that they can't make everything a TV show. So good for them. This is not related to I see you squinting like, what the hell?
I've never even heard of Meg 1. What the fuck is Meg 2?
Because it was
Did you
called
watch-
The Meg, as in the
The Meg.
Megalodon. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay.
It's a shark movie. So
All right. So at some point I will be watching this because I'll start to pass out, probably falling asleep, and my partner will definitely probably be watching this. So okay.
There's a sequel
All
to
right.
a sequel to The Meg is coming out in August. That's about that.
Moving
funny
on.
enough, with this one, I was like Gran Turismo, like the Gran Turismo, Gran Turismo, which it's based on the video game, and the video game is just a
first of
racing
all,
game. Yeah,
It is a racing game. I love car racing movies.
Yeah,
I love them.
yeah,
Corny ones, sign me up.
yeah.
Drive is one of my favorite movies, or I think
that's
it's
a
called
good movie.
Driven.
Driven, yeah,
Driven, yeah. About F1 racing. Corniest movie ever.
yeah.
I'm fine. I loved it.
Is that the one with Sylvester Stallone?
Yes. I
Yeah,
loved
okay, I know
that
that one.
movie.
Yeah.
So, it's got David Harbour in it.
I know. I saw that too. Good for him.
And
What's
Orlando
really
Bloom.
funny, I didn't realize, I don't know why I never made the connection, and then someone mentioned it. Did you ever watch The Newsroom on HBO?
Yes.
Did you know that he was in that? He was like the other anchor that
No.
was on like a different show on the same network. Yeah, and then once you see a
No.
clip of him from the show, it's like, oh my God, that's him without a beard, without any facial hair. And he's
I
like
need to
thinner.
see this.
Yeah. David Arbor, The Newsroom. And that should pull up a picture of him from the show.
Oh my God. How? Okay. But now that I'm seeing it, I
Yeah.
totally see it. And also now that I'm seeing it, he kind of looks like Michael C. Hall when he's in the.
It's funny. He looks like a cross. All right. Clean shaven
Okay.
David Arbor. This is great
Yeah.
for an audio podcast, by the way, whereas
This
it's
is
starting to
fantastic.
look. He looks like a cross between Michael C. Hall and I got to look it up because I forget the guy's name. Peter Krause.
Oh, yes. I
Right?
see it. Yes.
If Peter Krause and Michael C. Hall had a child,
My.
it'd be David Arbor. And for some
Okay,
reason,
I
he'd be
see
older than
it.
both of them. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Excellent.
weird, right? All right.
I like
so anyway,
that. Okay. So now that one sounds good to me.
Gran
Okay.
Turismo. There you go. 2 more
Haunted
movies to round
Mansion.
out the year.
The summer. We're going to end it the summer.
The summer.
folks.
Yeah.
We'll do a second round
Yeah.
later in the year. Haunted Mansion.
Based on a theme park ride, which the last
Yeah.
time they did this, well, okay, I want to say the last time. Disney has tried this a few times. One time, it was Pirates of the Caribbean. Worked out pretty great for them, didn't it? And then,
Did pretty well. Yeah.
yeah. And then they tried it with Tomorrowland, and it did not go very well.
Did not go as
No.
well, folks. Did not go as
So
well.
now they're trying it with the Haunted Mansions. Rosario Dawson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jared Leto, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito is in it.
I like that.
Winona Ryder, Dan Levy.
I'm excited
so-
for that. I love Dan Levy. We all know
good
this.
cast. I know. I love that whole family. I love them all.
They're wonderful.
But yeah, there's not much to go over. Just it's a movie based on the ride. There you go. The end. But then but a great cast, and Danny DeVito's in it. I don't know if he can play a ghost. I'll happily show
He can
up.
play anything. Again,
Yeah.
I'll watch him sit in a cardboard box. Let's do it.
And then
Really
you want
not. This is
Yeah.
Blue Beetle.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell this is.
I don't know what this is, but this is our last one on August 18th. I mean, I've got nothing here.
No, I don't
Sorry,
need it. Well, you know
Susan
what? I did
Sarandon?
hear about this. Yeah, I did hear
Okay,
about this. So
tell
this is
me.
based on it's a DC comic movie. And that's about it. This is something they've been trying to get off the ground for a while. It was somehow related to that movie The Rock just did. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's another.
That's a
It's
real
another-
shitty one to end on.
Yeah.
Is there anything else coming out in the year that we should be really excited about?
Oh, man.
Just what? Dune 2? I
Dune
didn't see the
Part
first,
2.
but
Yeah.
okay.
I have a good one to end on.
Okay,
I have
please.
a really good one to end on.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay.
I'm skipping all the way to the end of the year, right?
I don't
This is
care.
all about
I'm
summer
excited.
movies. Just because I feel like this is a good one to end on. Wonka.
Oh my gosh, you win. That is a good one to end on.
Timothy Chalamet.
Shalalala, bing bong.
Chalamet, yeah. Plays the character.
Keegan Michael Key. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Rowan
Okay.
Atkinson.
We talked a lot
Yeah.
about. Okay, I'm very excited for that. Yay. Okay, that's a really good one to end on.
Yeah.
Have we seen anything at all what Timothy Chalamet
No.
looks like as Wonka?
We haven't, but also, I mean, at this point, it's kind of funny because I think there's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then there's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which was the Tim Burton catastrophe that we shall not speak about. And that thing was such a piece of shit. Like, that was so bad.
I even
That
saw
movie.
it high and it wasn't good.
No,
That's
oh
how
God,
you know it's bad.
It's not. And also it just, that's a terrible movie and like a terrible kind of like redux. It's so far away from the book and everything. It's just bad. So you can't get that much bad with this. So as long as they return to some innocence of the character or something, that's fine. I will say it is a little crazy. I don't know how I feel about it. Can I read you the synopsis?
Sure. I am seeing him dressed as Wonka. He's like a young Wonka, right?
Yeah, and that's fine, right?
I'm looking at him.
I think Timothy Chalamet. I think him dressed as it. I'm like, okay, I'm
It's
interested.
believable.
Right?
He's got some great cheekbones. I'm in.
It's the story. The story focuses on a young Willy Wonka and how he met the Oompa Loompas on one of his earliest adventures. I don't know
Okay.
if we need to go there. I don't know.
Okay.
It's one of those things. I don't think we need to go there. Why are we doing
Okay.
this? Why are we the whole point, and this was, I was talking to someone else about it too. The whole point to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory of like that of Wonka's character, he's not supposed to be the center point. He is this crazy person that you
He's
don't
the
know if
crazy
he's
side
lying.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know if he's lying. You don't know what's happening. It's like, and I'm basing this off of like another a video essay I watched about the Hangover movies, and it's like you watch the Hangover movies, right? Did you like the Hangover movies?
Yeah, I love them.
Okay, so there's
I like the first two. I didn't see the third one, but yes.
good enough. I mean, it's just
Okay.
spoiler alert. They get hungover and have to recount, like do the same thing they did
You
in the
don't
first two
say.
movies. But out of that, right, it was like the first movie came out and you have Bradley Cooper's character and Ed Helms' character and then Zach Galifianakis' character. And then at some sequel, they're just like, oh, people love Zach Galifianakis' character, so let's make him the center point. It's like, no, the reason he works is because he's not the center point. Don't make
That's
him
a
the
great
center
point.
point.
Yes.
Like, that's not his role. His role is to be somewhere in the background. His role is to be like the comic relief, right? It's the world is normal and he's crazy, or the world is like it's one or the other. You know, you can't be the centerpiece and also be the crazy wild card. That does not how it works.
That's a good point, because going back to the Willy Wonka thing, it would be like in Wizard of Oz if they capitalized on the wizard being the main point.
Yeah.
Instead of just this ethereal being that everybody was looking towards. He's almost like the cruise director in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's like directing them all for the experience. Right. So I don't know. I mean, I do think this is, I don't know. I want it to be good.
I want it to be good too. And I've seen pictures of Timothée Chalamet dressed in the, and I'm like, okay. And the cast is good, right? But like, honestly, you know what's funny? I'm like, Rowan Atkinson's in it
too. Okay.
What's
and
that?
We saw what happened. So the cast was really good for Cats as well.
I know.
And we saw what happened there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because it goes back to what I was saying too, which is, you look at, you go back and you look at movies. Who's a good sign off on whether or not it's a good movie? Ryan Gosling. There's no actor like Ryan Gosling in this to like lend some credibility. You know, Rowan Atkinson, love him. He's been in a lot of crappy movies. Keegan-Michael Key, he's been in a lot of crappy movies and TV shows, right? Like, so it's no one on this list. I like them, but there's no one on this list that gives it some credibility of like, no, just give the script a chance. Which I have to I have to dive deep and figure out if there's any specific actors or actresses where I feel like they would be good sign off people other than Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling is a really good one.
Yeah.
Although, you know, I realized the other night, sidebar, I've never seen La La Land. Me
either. No, don't worry about me either.
I think I would truly love it. I'm going to watch it. I'll watch it.
Me too. Alone. Can I give one last palate cleanser so we can get out of here? There's no information on it, but we know it's coming this year.
Okay, I'm excited. Go ahead.
The sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife will be coming at the end of this year. So
end of this year.
End of 2020
okay.
by
All
December.
Right, great.
So
I love
it's
that.
Slotted. They've scheduled a release for December 20th, right just in time for Christmas. So
excellent. Perfect.
We'll see. And maybe
great
this one returns us to New York.
It's great for us.
It would be good if it returns to New York. And I haven't actually seen anything being filmed or anything, but we'll see.
Okay.
If anything,
that's a perfect palate cleanser.
Yeah, my kid is my kid's an actor. He's acting. He's going to show up. It was funny enough. It's a movie that's on this list somewhere. But I don't think it's the movie. I think it's the TV show, The Equalizer, that he's filming a scene for. So
little badass.
I know. We'll see. But honestly, I'm going to keep an eye out because, like, if they are filming Ghostbusters in New York City, I'm going to get him in on that. Got to get him in.
I'm going to get myself in on that.
Yeah, show up. I'll play a ghost. You know,
I'd be a great ghost.
Yeah. I'll go. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some decent ones in there and some ones that are guaranteed to suck. So that's exciting.
What did you have out of that list? Did you have like your top, like what you're looking forward to? Something?
You mean besides Cocaine Bear?
Yes.
I don't know.
No.
I was really looking forward to the Mario movie, but
I'm sorry I tore that apart.
I'm kidding. I'm glad you told me. I'm glad you told me.
Yeah.
Probably Meg 2. That's it.
Really?
I'm totally fucking kidding. I'm totally kidding. I didn't even see the first one. Did I sell that really well?
You did. You got me.
No, I don't know. I don't know which one I'm looking forward to most, but I just feel like there's going to be some really good ones. Oh, I know exactly which one is The Little Mermaid. Yeah. I'm most excited about The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah, most excited for that.
I will say, and it's funny enough, I didn't even know about its existence until we literally did this podcast. I would have said Oppenheimer, but I'm going to end it and say I am looking forward to Asteroid City, the Wes Anderson.
Oh, duh. Yeah, no. Okay, that'll be my number 2 then.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't seen a single frame of this movie, but just the cast list. I'm also excited because I think this might be the first time Tom Hanks is working with Wes Anderson, which
really
good for him. And Steve Carell. Has Steve Carell worked?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Steve Carell, so good.
But funny enough, out of that list,
he co-wrote that along Roman Coppola. It says
what? Asteroid City.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Wow. That's some star power. That's, you know what?
That's
going back,
pretty good.
We'll tie it in a bow. That is a sign off. You know, I'll
There
give
you
it
go.
credit. Tom Hanks has been in a few crappy things here and there. Some things that I would, you know, tilt my head at or anything. But I think the combination, Steve Carell, Edward Norton, I mean, Bryan Cranston's in it.
Okay.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
We'll
go
do
for that one.
That's my pick.
Okay.
My pick.
Done.
I want to go back to 1955 with Wes Anderson. So.
Don't we all? All right, this was fun. I'm looking forward to seeing these, and of course, there'll probably be a few episodes on these. So,
yeah, we'll definitely do a few. We'll have to get you to an actual good theater, not one that has like the, you know, here's Coca-Cola ads for 20 minutes. You know, we told
saw
you about
Monster
NBC's.
Squad. That's what I saw. Yeah, Monster Squad. I saw that. Tom, no, you've never seen Monster Squad. The 1980s perfection. Actually, it might be early 90s. About the kids that fight the monsters that come to their town on Halloween.
No,
We watch
I don't
it
know.
every Halloween. It is my fiance's favorite movie. A bunch of us went to Alamo Drafthouse to watch Monster Squad, and you can drink in the Alamo Drafthouse
Yeah.
movie theaters. I cannot believe you've not seen Monster
It
Squad.
was written by Shane Black.
It's incredible. I cannot. You have to show this to your son. He will
All
love
right.
it.
All right. Is this
I'm
like
just
a,
gonna
okay.
say the Wolfman has nards, and you have to watch it. You're gonna love it.
I feel like we should do an episode on like our little like hidden secret movies that like no
Yeah, I
one's
like
seen
that.
but we recommend at some point.
Everyone's gonna make fun of me, but yeah, let's do it. You're like, what the fuck kind of childhood did you have? All right, guys, that was fun.
Good time.
Good times. 2023, big movie year.
Excited for it. Looking forward to it. See ya.
All right, bye.